welcome back to the channel, and today a quick review for this, Without Remorse by Tom Clancy. Now this was a book written in 1993 and it is part of the John Clarke / Jack Ryan universe, or the Clancy verse as some people call it. Now it was actually the 6th book written in that series, but it's the first book in timeline order. So I'd already read one book in this series and I decided to go back and start at the start. Timeline order Without Remorse is the first of those. So we are with John Clarke in this one, and it provides kind of a backstory or a prequel to John Clarke, the character. Now in this, John Clarke is a retired Navy SEAL and demolitions expert. He left the service following his tour of Vietnam and a particularly kind of spicy recon mission. Now, bad things have happened to John Clarke in the real world, out there in civilian life, and someone close to him. And this is very much a revenge story. It is an action thriller, and the plot really revolves around revenge. The themes aren't very deep here. The character work is serviceable, but it's quite two-dimensional. And I would say the prose is also very serviceable. You know, Clancy does like to set a scene. He does use decent descriptions, but it's very much takes a back seat to the plot and the action. That's really where you know, Clancy excels. In this, the plot is very fast-paced. It's very action-packed. There is a main plot and there are a couple of subplots. Now those weave their way in towards the end, towards the final act, when all kind of 3 plots marry up and you kind of get the twists. Now it isn't twists that I think that Clancy was trying to hold back from the reader, so he looks like a clever writer. You're supposed to see these coming, and they're supposed to be very much the fun of seeing these played out on page rather than having to figure them out yourself. So the plot devices aren't particularly complex. This isn't really there to be a complex novel. I think you come to this for the action, for the violence, for the military realism. If you're a gun nut, you probably love this. Effectively, what happens in this story is we get given the basis, we get given the foundation for the series going forwards. Clancy's gone back and he's filled that in for us. And what I would say, it comes with a warning. There is quite a bit of violence in this. There are references to sexual violence, and it was written in 1993, so there are some time kind of appropriate stereotypes in there, so this won't read as nicely and as modern as a book that was written after 2000. It is, a product of its time in that way. I didn't enjoy this as much as Rainbow Six. I think character work and the plotting was a little bit better in that book. It was 640 pages. It took me about a week and a half to read. Clancy's style was quite a fast reading style. I think it's around 270 to 290,000 words in there, I would say. But my rough word count, I think 270 is probably about accurate. So it might take you a little while. It depends if you're a fast reader or slow reader. I am quite a slow reader. It took me 11, 12 days to read this one. Yeah, not quite as good as Rainbow Six, I would say. I would say it's a very good book though. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. It delivered a action movie revenge plot in book form, and I think that's what it was going for.